Comedy Central roast of the 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm your host, Satan, and I'm here to dunk on each and every member of the horrible Pittsburgh Steelers, except for, of course, the likes of Isaiah Loudermilk and DeMarvin Leal, because, let's be honest, you probably forgot they were on the team, didn't you?
Who? My life, to put it simply, used to be too easy. I used to wake up every Monday morning ready to conquer my week. And a lot of people would ask me, how is this possible? The answer? A relaxing Sunday. And honestly, it was just too relaxing. That's when I discovered Steeler football. With Steeler football, you can finally start spending your Sundays the way the NFL intended, violently. Whether it be the horrendous clock management of Michael Petaway, the worst quarterback in Steelers history, wide receivers not giving a shit, or a defense that includes TJ Watt and a bunch of jet ski salesmen, we have something for everyone. You're guaranteed a floor of 9 wins and a ceiling of 10 wins. Sloppy play, penalties, playing down to competition, hush money, coaches tripping players, Deontay Johnson turning into Johnny Manziel. We truly are the Kardashians of the NFL, without the cosmetics and Ray J tapes. Call 1-800-FUCK-THIS-TEAM, that's 1-800-FUCK-THIS-TEAM, and see what Steeler football can do for you.
Side effects may include nausea, vomiting, headaches, migraines, nightmares, insomnia, cold sweats, fevers, dizziness, severe depression, low sperm count, and obscene blood farting.
Try Steeler football today, because if people don't love you, follow a team that won't either.
Where do we start? Oh, how about the man at the top, Mr. Michael Petaway Tomlin? Just a few weeks ago, he was getting votes by the national media for Coach of the Year. Now he's getting traded to the Washington Commanders. Talk about a downgrade.
Fuck this fucking team!
That's almost like going from Ben Roethlisberger to Mitchell Trubisky. Am I right? I kid. Seriously, Mike's a good coach. He's a good guy. All you really have to do is look at the results. Let's just go back to like the last time he won a playoff game, maybe in 2016. Let's see. Well, in 2017, the Killer Bees crashed and burned at the height of their powers because they lost their middle linebacker. Wait, if you didn't have an all-pro middle linebacker, you couldn't stop Blake Bortles from scoring 40 points in your own house in the playoffs? That doesn't seem right, but I'm not a football guy. I'm a comedian.
Worst episode ever.
This was the first season I was able to get my friends to watch football with me and try to get them into it, but this team has just been so embarrassing as of late. It's like no one in the organization knows how to fix any of the problems we have going on. All they've been doing is throwing shit at the wall hoping something sticks.
Go in! Get in that net, you crazy whore! Ooh! God, you suck at basketball! Boom! Go back to your mama! Now come here. Why do you disappoint me? Second by second, you waste my time.
Let's see, 2018, maybe. They were 7-2-1, and that's a pretty good start if you think about it. Oh, they missed the playoffs after losing 4-5. Okay, well, it had to be better in 2019, right? 8-5, and they lost their last 3 games to miss the playoffs, but, you know, that was without Ben Roethlisberger, right? That's a pretty fair excuse. At least he came back in 2020 when they won 11-0 and didn't even get a bye week, and they got the doors blown off at home by Baker Mayfield. Okay, well, what about 2021 when they brought back that quarterback that Mike Tomlin was so obviously ready to move on from, and they chug-a-lug to the playoffs for a fun little story and got absolutely demolished by Patrick Mahomes? All right. I'm sure there's some evidence of Mike being a good coach here somewhere. Okay, what about last year, all right? They started 2-6. They won 7 of 9 games down the stretch to narrowly miss the playoffs, but they decided to bring Matt Canada back for another year of impeding their quarterback's maturation process. By the way, he's 25 years old.
I love the young people.
Still, I think if you look at what Mike Tomlin did in my late teens and early 20s, I'm almost 34, you'll see that he used to be a pretty good coach, or he just had a really good quarterback that helped to mask almost all of the organizational flaws despite being relatively flawed himself. Either way, in my mid-30s now, I don't have another 15 years to wait for him to figure it out. And with that, folks, we've reached our first break of the night, but stay right there. We'll be back with more sick burns on your Pittsburgh Steelers faster than you can say Jarvis Landry just caught another third down conversion on Robert Spillane in the playoffs.
Attention. If you or a loved one watched a Matt Canada offense, you may be entitled to content compensation. Matt Canada is a rare parasite linked to bad NFL offenses. Exposure to Matt Canada at some Primanti's, Acrisure, training camp, or various other NFL stadiums may have put you at risk. Please don't wait. Subscribe for a free Steelers information packet. Matt Canada's victims, subscribe now.
What's going on, guys? It's at Kustilski. Shout out to 5-Star Matchup for this opportunity, man, but I can't roast this team, bro. I just want to apologize. I just want to apologize to Mika Fitzpatrick, bro. Wasted your season playing with a broken hand. Cam Hayward, you wasted your season. TJ Watt, you're wasting your season. Montravius Adams, Elandon Roberts, you're all wasting your seasons, bro. We have an O-line that can't block shit. We have receivers that can't execute shit. We have an offensive coordinator that can't call shit. We have a fucking head coach that can't save shit. He ain't got no mind for offense, bro. And we got a defense that's giving up 30 because they're tired. They're playing 100 fucking snaps, bro, because this offense is awful, bro.
Was I? Oh yeah, quarterback. Well, as far as wasted years go, I think it's perfectly symbolic to see Mitchell Trubisky playing out the string on a team that just could not give a less. Shoot, they gave this guy an extension after he got benched and played pretty decent against the Carolina freaking Panthers and totally ate shit against the Baltimore Ravens in a must-win game. Talk about failing upwards. Who is he, a Steelers assistant coach? Speaking of failing upwards, what about Kenneth Shane, first of his name, who, let's be honest, probably wouldn't even have been drafted had he not been granted an extra year of eligibility to dunk on teenagers at Wake Forest or whoever the fuck plays football in the ACC. Ooh! Blame Tomlin, blame Canada, blame whatever you want for his lack of growth in his sophomore season. Just make sure you spread some of that blame to the guy in the number 8 jersey himself, who is allergic to throwing touchdowns. Look around the league. Tommy DeVito, Will Levis, Aiden O'Connell, Zach Wilson. Literally all guys that have thrown for more scores in less games this year than Kenny Pickett. It just ain't happening for the kid, and I, for one, am not holding my breath for next year to be any better.
Adult Swim. All kids out of the pool.
Steel Flyers from steelflyers.com, and I really think that Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach. He's got almost exactly the same numbers as Bill Cowher. That, as far as I'm concerned, qualifies him for the Hall of Fame as a qualified Bill Cowher.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Biggest thing I would probably shit on is the lack of a top-tier coaching staff that they haven't had in God knows how many years, and the lack of having top-tier talent because of Kevin Colbert's huge misses in the last 5 years that he was drafting. I hope to God Omar Khan can fix this, but Mike Tomlin's not inspiring confidence in me, especially with this team going forward. It's an absolute shit show.
I'll be waiting with bells on you old horse-banging
Speaking of holding my breath, you know when I find myself doing that? Almost every time an opposing offense drops back to pass against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Spare me the excuses. I'm tired of being the only defense in the league that can't seem to function without an all-pro caliber middle linebacker covering wide receivers in man. You know why no one else has that problem? Because no one else asks their middle linebackers to do that as consistently as the Pittsburgh fucking Steelers. This defense has given up the 6th most yards in the league despite being highly compensated and supposedly well-stocked with star talent. On the topic of highly paid talent, anybody heard Alex Highsmith's name in the last month? Put that man on a milk carton. Lamar Woodley Jr. in the making, am I right? He even has the right number. Speaking of missing people, let's take another quick break and we'll be back quicker than Najee Harris making contact on a handoff up the gut.
Went through my closet, took a look at what jerseys do I have. The only number I got is 22. That's still active. Got AB, you know how that played out. Got Shazier, figured that probably wasn't appropriate. And again, kind of the theme of the whole year. I know Coach likes to say they want to squash grapes, drink wine. I don't know exactly what that means.
Gentlemen, all right, I'm joking. Alex Highsmith is, of course, one of the least of the issues on this defense. At least he's made an impact player or two this season, unlike Minkah Fitzpatrick, who, besides a bunch of tackles, finds his stat sheet emptier than a Steelers tight ends. I'm not going to dunk on the tight ends, though. They can't throw themselves the ball. Look, okay, Pat Freiermuth is a very talented player who can't block for shit, and he'll go on to be a perennial Pro Bowl caliber player on his next team, which won't ask him to block because he sucks at it. Oh boy, I'm hopping all over the place on this absolutely unhinged rant, but I guess that's what losing 3 games in a row to the Cardinals, Patriots, and Colts will do to a guy. I just wish I made close to the same money as Deontay Johnson, considering we both have the same impact on games. I'm just kidding. DJ is on a hot streak right now. So if you were to ask him, he probably doesn't even realize that the team is struggling. After all, we know for a fact he doesn't check the scoreboard. Speaking of scoreboards, can somebody tell me how many points per game the Steelers' putrid offense is averaging this season? Anybody? Oh, it's less than 16? In 2023? Did you know that the 2003 Steelers, who went 6-10 20 years ago, averaged 18.8 points per game? How about the fact that the 1988 Steelers, who went 5-11 36 years ago, averaged a whopping 21 points per game behind the strong play of the venerable Bubby Brister, who looks like Ben Roethlisberger compared to Kenny 1.8 touchdown percentage Pickett. Sorry folks, just one more quick break, and I promise you we will be back before you can say we're gonna raise hell in December.
Oh, sorry, I was just doing my best Deontay Johnson impression, celebrating under him. It's fucking disappointment. Thank you for inviting me to this roast, 5-star. Originally, I was just going to stand here with the team's playoff record from the last 10 years, and I thought that'd be pretty funny. But then I realized it's pretty fucking depressing, and I didn't want to make the fan base cry, especially because we've been watching Trubisky play, or at least attempt to play quarterback in the NFL the last 2 weeks. Speaking of the last couple weeks, what does a toddler, Rob Beerdeck, and a hippie have in common? Those are 3 fucking quarterbacks that have beaten this defense the last 3 weeks. Kenny, I hope it ain't true that fucking Zach Gentry... Honestly, the roster's been more disappointing than the diets I've tried in the same amount of time. So, Pittsburgh, thanks for the memories. That seems to be all we have these days. In conclusion, fuck Tomlin, fuck Kenny.
Fuck Rashard Mendenhall.
Here we go, Steelers, baby.
Hi, I'm Charles Barkley, host of the season premiere of Saturday Night Live with Nirvana. Look, Mom, your favorite, Nirvana.
Want to hear the words, "We don't live in our fears"?
Punting the ball.
And passing up on the 56-yard field goal for Chris Boswell.
What the hell are you doing?
Pocket sand.
You know, that's why I do have to laugh, though, when people say that we're back to the 1980s with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because not one single year in the 1980s did the Steelers average less points than they're scoring this year. In the 1980s! So, yeah. Also, they went to the playoffs in 1982, 83, 84, and 89, so it's not quite as desolate of a period as people think it was. But you know what is exactly as desolate as people think it is? The monumental collapse of the 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers, who just over a month ago were flying high at 6-3 and are now careening rapidly towards a pathetic 7-10 finish. This season has accomplished exactly nothing but aging the players another year, sending Najee Harris another step closer to the glue factory. TJ Watt continues to be possibly the best player in NFL history to never even sniff a playoff win as he approaches 30. Cam Hayward, at this rate, will become the first ever D lineman / coach as he hopelessly pursues another shot at the Super Bowl as he and I both approach our 50s and 60s. Either way, another batch of CJ Strouds and Caleb Williamses will be scouted, drafted, and in the playoffs as we kick the can down the road with an offense designed to win exactly 7 to 9 games a year with zero hope in sight to compete with good teams. Mike Tomlin will be back and more bewildered than ever that he continues to have zero idea on how to compete with younger head coaches who will continue to embarrass his rudimentary schemes, and yet again a middle linebacker or 6 will be injured, and still will ask Mark Robinson or the ghost of Vince Williams to cover tight ends in space. All the while, Mike Hilton, Cam Sutton, Arthur Mollett, Javon Hargrave, Robert Spillane, Kevin Dotson, Kendrick Green, and I'm sure many, many, many more will go on to bigger and better things with organizations that give a shit about what decade it is, and Juju Smith-Schuster, Antonio Brown, and Ben Roethlisberger will sit at home laughing and polishing their Super Bowl rings, the likes of which this organization can only see on display in the lobby or when Mike brings them in on show and tell day. It's time to move on. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to go out to the 5-star phone line where we've got a caller by the name of Jesse James caught that ball ringing in. What do you got to say, pal? Hello?
This Steelers team is deader than dead. It's week 16, and I'm about to give up on the Steelers team like I'm a wide receiver asked to block for a teammate.
Oh, that's a low blow.
Or an offensive lineman asked to block for a quarterback.
Ouch.
Oh, and speaking of quarterbacks, raise your hand if you thought Mitch Trubisky was going to revitalize his career in Pittsburgh. Raise it a little higher, please. Wait, just reach a little bit higher? Never mind, it doesn't matter. Mitch is going to overthrow you anyway. The season's over. Did you know Kenny Pickett had less passing yards than the number of days it's been since Jesse James caught that ball on December 17, 2017? Yeah, the season's over.
Oh,